It's 3 a.m., and your mind won't stop. Thoughts crash into each other like waves in a storm you never asked for. The job you just lost, the person who betrayed you, the diagnosis that arrived without warning, the bank account that keeps shrinking while the worries keep growing. You lie there, trapped inside your own head, replaying every detail, imagining every worse outcome. The untrained mind has a cruel habit. It doesn't simply feel pain, it multiplies it. Rumination loops tighten around your chest. Catastrophizing paints tomorrow in the darkest colors. And in those moments, it feels like your mind is no longer yours. It's running the show. But here's what the ancient Stoics discovered after facing the same storms, only far greater ones. They found a way to step outside the chaos and take the wheel back. What if you could control your mind even when the world feels completely out of control? That possibility is exactly what we're going to explore together. This isn't modern motivational fluff that fades by lunchtime. This is Stoicism, a practical philosophy that has quietly guided emperors, slaves, and statesmen through war, exile, plague, and personal ruin for more than 2,000 years. 3 men in particular distilled its power into something timeless. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire while barbarian armies pressed at every border and a deadly plague swept through his cities. At night, by candlelight, he wrote reminders to himself just to stay sane. Epictetus was born a slave, crippled by his master, yet became one of the most respected teachers in Rome because no one could chain his mind. Seneca rose to wealth and power, only to be ordered to take his own life by the emperor he had once advised. In his final hours, he remained completely calm. What united them was one revolutionary insight. External events do not disturb us, only our judgments about those events do. The same layoff that sends one person into despair can leave another strangely at peace. The same betrayal that destroys one relationship leaves another person stronger and clearer. The difference isn't the event. The difference is the mind that meets the event. Today's world trains us to react instantly, to scroll, to argue, to numb ourselves whenever life hurts. Stoicism offers the opposite, inner mastery. And from the combined wisdom of these 3 masters, 7 practical rules emerge, rules that form a complete operating system for your mind in the hardest seasons of life. These rules are not random tips. They build on one another like stones in a fortress. The first creates the foundation by showing you where your power actually lies. The next 3 teach you how to meet reality without being broken by it. The following 2 rewire how you see yourself and every difficulty. And the final rule turns everything into a daily practice so the changes last. By the end of this video, you will hold a personal Stoic manual you can return to whenever life tests you again.
Let's begin with the rule that stops nearly 80% of unnecessary mental suffering before it even starts. Imagine you've just been laid off, or the person you loved has walked away. The first instinct is to obsess. What are they thinking? Will the company change its mind? Could I have done something differently? Your mind pours every drop of energy into things you cannot control, and the more you chase them, the more exhausted and powerless you feel. Epictetus saw this trap 20 centuries ago and cut through it with one clear sentence. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Your opinions, your effort, your attitude, your response, those are up to you. Everything else, other people's choices, the economy, the weather, even your own past, those are not. The moment you truly accept this distinction, something extraordinary happens. All that wasted energy suddenly becomes available again. You stop arguing with reality and start working with the only thing you truly own, your own mind. Right now, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I currently trying to control that is actually outside my power? Simply naming it is often enough to feel the chains loosen. Once you master this separation, a deeper shift becomes possible. Instead of fighting what has already happened, you begin to meet it. That brings us to the second rule. Picture the phone call that changes everything. A serious diagnosis, a sudden financial collapse, a loss you never saw coming. The natural reaction is resistance. Why me? This isn't fair. I can't accept this. That resistance doesn't change the reality, it only doubles the pain. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire where watching his own children die and his soldiers fall to plague, wrote a single line that became his secret weapon. Accept the things to which fate binds you. He called it Amor Fati, love of fate, not because the hardship is pleasant, but because it is the exact material your character needs to grow. The Stoics understood that every difficulty arrives carrying a gift, but only if you stop fighting the wrapping. The practical move is surprisingly simple and incredibly powerful. When the unwanted event lands, say to yourself, quietly but firmly, I love this. Not as denial, but as recognition that this moment, exactly as it is now part of your story, and therefore part of your training. Resistance melts into calm strength. Victimhood turns into quiet power. With acceptance in place, the next step is preparation, because even the strongest acceptance can be shaken if disaster takes you completely by surprise. Most people live in a kind of naive optimism. They assume tomorrow will be like today, until the day it isn't. Then the shock alone can break them. Seneca, who had been exiled, impoverished, and finally sentenced to death, refused to let life catch him unprepared. Every morning, he practiced what he called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils.
He would calmly imagine losing his fortune, his reputation, even his life, not to create anxiety, but to remove its sting. When you have already rehearsed the worst in the safety of your own mind, the actual event loses its ability to shatter you. Try this tomorrow morning. Take 2 minutes and picture the difficult conversation, the market crash, the health scare. See it clearly, then let it go. Walk into the day lighter because you have already met the challenge in your mind and survived. You will notice something remarkable. The actual day feels easier, and gratitude rises naturally because you are no longer secretly afraid of what might happen. This steady preparation naturally sharpens something even more profound, the awareness that time itself is limited. You scroll for hours while stressed about small problems. You replay arguments in your head as if they matter more than the remaining days of your life. Seneca used to remind himself constantly, you could leave life right now, not as a threat, but as the ultimate perspective filter. Memento Mori, remember you must die. When death is kept close as a quiet companion, trivial worries lose their grip. What remains is what truly matters, the people you love, the work you were meant to do, the character you were building. Use this awareness as a daily filter. Before you spend another hour worrying about something small, ask yourself, if this were my last week, would this deserve even 1 minute of my attention? The noise in your mind drops instantly. Perspective returns. You begin to live with the calm urgency that only those who remember their mortality truly possess. And when you live with that perspective, your sense of identity begins to change. Most of us tie our worth to things the world can take away: the job title, the bank balance, the relationship status, the reputation. When those things crack, we feel worthless. Marcus Aurelius refused to make that mistake. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing that what a good man should be one." The Stoics taught that virtue, courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance is the only true good. Everything else is indifferent. So instead of measuring your day by what you gained or lost, measure it by whether you acted with those 4 virtues. Did you show courage when it was uncomfortable? Justice when no one was watching? Wisdom instead of reaction? Temperance when indulgence called? The moment you make virtue your identity, your self-respect becomes untouchable. No layoff, no betrayal, no public criticism can reach it. You walk through hard times with a quiet dignity that no external storm can shake.
This new identity turns every difficulty into something useful. When a business fails or a health setback arrives, the untrained mind sees only a dead end. Marcus Aurelius saw something else. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The obstacle is the way. Every hardship is secretly asking you to practice a specific virtue. The financial collapse demands temperance and creativity. The betrayal asks for justice and forgiveness. The illness invites courage and patience. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the Stoic asks, "What virtue does this situation demand of me right now?" The difficulty stops being a threat and becomes deliberate training ground. Your character grows stronger precisely because of the resistance, the same way muscles grow only when they are challenged. All 7 rules become real only when you close the day with honest reflection. Most people end their evenings replaying arguments or scrolling until their mind is numb. Seneca did the opposite. Every night before sleep, he asked himself 3 simple questions. What did I do wrong today? What did I do right? What can I improve tomorrow? 5 minutes, no judgment, just clarity. This evening review turns every day into a lesson instead of a loss. Mistakes lose their sting because they become data. Good actions become habits because they're noticed. You wake up the next morning already sharper, already steadier, already more in control. Now, take a slow breath with me and let's look at the complete picture these 7 rules create. First, you focus only on what you can control. Then, you love whatever fate brings. You prepare for difficulty so it never blindsides you. You remember death so life stays precious and clear. You build your identity on virtue instead of outcomes. You turn every obstacle into training, and you end each day with honest reflection. Together, they form an unbreakable mental fortress. Anxiety loses its grip. Resilience becomes your default. A deep, quiet peace settles in your chest, the same peace that allowed Marcus to write calmly while the empire burned around him. He sat by candlelight in his tent, surrounded by war and loss, writing words that still reach us across 2,000 years. The same rules that steadied an emperor can steady you today. Hard times will still come, that is certain, but now you possess the ancient tools to keep your mind free no matter what arrives. If these ideas touched something deep inside you, do 2 small things that actually matter. Hit the like button so others who are struggling tonight can find this wisdom. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week we go deeper into Stoic practices that actually change how you live. And before you close this video, drop a single number in the comments, the rule you're going to practice first this week, and the one hard situation you're facing right now. I read every comment and I reply with extra Stoic insight when I can. The world is hard. Your mind doesn't have to be. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next one. Stay steady.